Kazakhstan. I'm also a PhD candidate of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University. And as every my speech is starting, I'm just presenting myself, who am I and how I become a social entrepreneur. Why today, because of today's session is about social entrepreneurship. First of all, my first experience was starts at British Council and on ICT project um, from 2017. So it is 3 years that I've just doing some kind of social projects. And today I will share the information about it. So the next, who am I? I'm a founder of the Challenge project, which has been in existence for 3 years. It's a social project for young leaders around the world who just want to become a social entrepreneur and who just want to realize their own aims and do some good things to this world. The third one is I had 11 years of my research experience and in education sphere. I have 5 years in practice on. I just worked as a teacher and an expert in at Al-Farabi Kazakh National University and other Kazakhstan universities. And of course, I just researched this kind of thing. I just wrote a lot of articles on education sphere, and now I'm just writing articles on tourism also. The next, the main point that I'm just very proud of it, that on the previous year, I just visited One Young World Summit in London. So now I'm a One Young World ambassador from 2019, and it's a great honor to me to share with all information to all of you. If you will have any questions, of course, you will write it in the chat. The next, also I'm a volunteer coordinator and researcher at Pan Ki-moon Institute for Sustainable Development at Al-Farabi Kazakh National University in Kazakhstan. So as you know, Pan Ki-moon is a great person who I just put the main aims for the whole world. So we have 10 years to realize all of it. The next, what we should speak today. What is a social entrepreneurship? What do you think? What is it? Please, if you will have any suggestions, you can write down it in a WhatsApp or sorry, in this chat group, and you can share what do you know about social entrepreneurship and what is the difference between social entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship. So if you will have any suggestions, you can put on your hands and say something. Okay, I see a lot of messages in WhatsApp. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much. Hello, Paul. Do you have any suggestions? What is it, the difference between social entrepreneurship? Don't be shy and please write something. And after that, I will explain if you have any mistakes in it or not. Okay. Just keeping silence in chat. In the end, you can just explain it. Okay. Okay, I will continue. Social entrepreneurship is the specific role in a whole, I don't know how to say it, it's ecosystem or just when we are just divide social entrepreneurs from others. First of all, they are just, we see Rahma Waiti Ahmad just tries. Okay, You can turn on your microphone and say something, or if not, you can write in the chat. Okay, maybe he can't say something. I think you can write it in the chat, and then after the discussion session, we will discuss it. Okay. Sorry, how to... Okay, social entrepreneurship. First of all, we will see the difference. They have their own aim to realize their projects, not for any profit. They are just realizing it to make something or the world better. So we see the formula here is about the business pioneer, Christian perspective, social mission, and of course it will be an impact for the kingdom of good. So we see that there are a lot of social entrepreneurs around the world who just want to realize their project. And first of all, from my own experience, from during these 3 years, I've just mentioned and noticed one thing. So social entrepreneurs there are just having their own aim to realize it, and it's like a inspire people who are just want to make this world better. They're just crazy of their ideas, and the first thing that you should do is your own soul. When you are just believe not in someone else, but you believe in your own power that you have inside of you. And it was very hard period that I'm just sharing every time, but every of us will have this kind of periods in our life when we just think that a lot of people don't support you, and relatives or your parents don't understand what I are doing, and sometimes you think that you lost everything. And after that, when you see that there are a lot of people around the world who just haven't got any things that you have, please mention on it, and please see the problem that you have. I think that every country have different problems, and some people just divided into two categories, who are just criticize this, and others who are just do something good to the, not only to themselves, they just do it to their countries, to the whole world. And so the second category is the social entrepreneurs. It's the people who are just see that something is going wrong, but you shouldn't criticize it, and you should say, oh, our government don't support us in this way. First of all, you will start by yourself. In this way, I saw the problem in education sphere, because I've just worked in it. I just was a student as all of you here, and I thought that I can do something better to the same people as me. And it was a problem when I saw that my friends and others can't work on their majors. They just try to find new works. They just try to find new workplaces, because as they think that our government didn't help us, but who didn't see any opportunities, they just only criticize this kind of situation. And in this way, I saw that if I will open my startup like a business center, or maybe first time it will be online, because we are just sitting here, and it's really economy your time and your money to open it. And after that, I just thought, if I will have this idea, it's like any perspective of this kind of mission. What is the social mission in it? I will cooperate with all of teenagers, students who can't find themselves, who can't find what they will be in the who they will be in the future. And so I think that if you will give this kind of knowledge, opportunities, and if you will say more about trends in education that you have, I think they will just think more critically, creatively, and all of you will just realize all your uh, potential in yourself, and you will realize your mission in this world. After that, what I just want to talk about the next that I've just mentioned, there are a lot of social projects around the world. And when I just took a part in a British Council project, I just saw this kind of project about innovation, entrepreneurship, and education. And you look at history. This project is about that there are a lot of people who are just traveling around the world and who are just see that how many people who are just coming in our city, who are just getting outside somewhere else. And I see that a lot of people who just want to realize this kind of mission, they saw the problem in tourism sphere. Some people saw the problem in social life. For example, we see a lot of people with disabilities. We see people who haven't got any home or any parents, and it's a big problem nowadays. But some people don't pay attention on it because they said, "Oh, it's not my business. It's not my problem." But I saw the category of people who are just realize this kind of mission. They just make some great things, and it really help us. The next project, according for this kind of project, I can say a little bit conclusion that this project was realized 3 years ago and it's really now works. For example, in our country, I'm very proud that I know that these people who are just realized this project. And after that, we see that a lot of young people who didn't have any opportunities to see a lot of places in other cities in our country. So they had this kind of opportunity according this project. So we see that how this project was realized. And the next project that I just want to share about the cycle of goods is another one project how to make something more different and how there you can make some kind of good things like to help people with disabilities who haven't got any parents. And for example, this project was named is like a Kyriaki Braginoi. It's a name of one girl. She's a person with disabilities and she can't go. She just sit in hospitals for a long time, and her parents didn't believe that anything is possible. And after that, I saw that other volunteers just saw this kind of situation. They just create the website, they just create a page and social networks, and they said to the parents that don't lose your hope, don't think that nothing is possible, and they just helped. They just, according for using social networks, they just launched this kind of process because these parents haven't got any money or to pay for her illness, and this they just lost any hope for this, and they thought that she will die in the future. But after that, Um, the result of this project we see on the picture, that there were a lot of volunteers who are just realize it, and they just make some advertisements. They just spoke a lot of this kind of project according for this girl, and they just got a lot of money to her. And after that, the great medical clinic just said yes, and we will help you in this kind of illness. So it's a great social project around us. Or now you see this girl in the middle. She can't stand, and she just visited the pictures gallery, and it's like a miracle. After that, people were just very thankful. Her parents were very thankful to all the volunteers, all people who just believe in them. And I think if you will just believe in your power that you have inside, you can do everything. And social entrepreneurship is the main theme that will take a part in our whole life. The next is that we see that there are a lot of people with which are who are just haven't got any opportunities, but in some cases we can say about that. We say that these people, this category of people, have a lot of opportunities. They can do everything, because everything that we can do is in our soul, it's in our mind. And sometimes we see people who just have hands, legs, but they are just lying and do nothing. It depends only on us. So the next slide is about me and about the projects that I've just realized. The name that I mentioned before, the name of this project is Challenge. And I'm just talking every time about it because this story, it's my own story, is the story which helped me to believe in my power, to believe in my I don't know how to say it, to my inspiration inside of me. 3 years ago, I've just say about just give only 5 minutes about it. 3 years ago, when I've just lost everything, I've just lost my favorite job that I thought that it was my favorite. I've just lost my relatives who I just go abroad, and they just said that, oh, sorry, we can't live here, and I think you can do something by yourself. In this way, it was something strange period in my life. Yes, something is talking about.
Hello, Maya. I'm so
Yes, yes.
sorry, but the slide is not moving on. I think there's some problem.
Ah, yes, it's moving now.
Uh,
No,
not
Maya.
yet.
It's on the cycle of good. Try to present it again. Try to close it and present it again.
Um, to close the presentation, yes.
Yeah, and then you can
Okay.
open the file again.
Oh, oh, sorry. How to make it?
Maya,
Ah,
stop screen share.
so
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
And then screen share again.
okay. Should
Sorry
I
about
do it
that.
by myself or you will do? I can do it again. Problem.
Yes, you can, or if you want our team,
Do you see it now?
not yet.
It is still loading.
Uh,
Try to.
Can you share with this presentation?
Okay, our team will share screen for you, Maya.
Okay. Oh, now I see the comment here. Social entrepreneurship is an approach by individual, group, or startup companies which develop, implement solutions to social. Oh, I agree with you. Thanks for your comment, CFR. Pause. I think social entrepreneurship, you just missed some point. They're just concentrating not on the profit. They are just concentrating, social entrepreneurs, who are they? Concentrate on good things to realize some social problem in our society.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I will continue the story when I'm just realize my social project, and after that, I think all of you will become a social entrepreneurs, and in the end, I will say what is the main point and what is it social entrepreneurship in our life. So 3 years ago, I just thought that I just lost everything and I can't work uh, starting from 9 to 6 p.m. For example, in bank or some organization. I've just worked in university as a teacher, but in that case, I've just realized that it's not mine. Something is going wrong, and I'm just sitting in four, like sitting in a box and can't go outside. I didn't feel any freedom, and I wasn't happy in it. And so after that, I thought I should do something better. I should maybe cooperate with other people, but how I will do it, I I didn't have any ideas. But one day I just saw there a lot of advertisements in on Facebook, and I saw one competition on from British Council according for IC projects, innovation and education. I thought, what is it? How I can just take a part in it? I thought if it is mine, I will win. If not, it's okay. And so I've just fill up the application, and after that, it was a great surprise for me because the organization just said yes, and I took a part in their education process, how to be a speaker. I've just trained my voice. I just worked in a teams, and after that, I had the idea to realize my own project. It was a miracle for me, but in the end, this organization said that they will give grant or money to realize this kind of project, but I didn't win. And for example, my friend now and colleague, she won this prize. She won this prize, and now she is a person who are just realizing her project. She's a young writer, and she draw pictures, writing fairy tales to children who are who haven't got any parents, who haven't got any homes, and it's I think she's just doing a great mission in her life. And now her books you can find in a Forbes platform, in Amazon platform. You can just copy these kind of books, and it's a great opportunity to all of you. I think if you will just do these good things, you can realize, and I think that all your dreams will come true. And what can I say, that after that, when I didn't win anything, any grants or any money, I haven't got now money, for example, to open a big business center. But I think I have opportunity, for example, to realize it online, to make master classes and trainings to young leaders. I've just read a lot of books and research articles according for education, and now I'm just reading on tourism sphere. And sometimes I think that it will be a great opportunity to share this knowledge with young generation. If I will share it, I think you will get more skills, knowledges after that, and you will just take this knowledge in your projects, and you will know how to realize it in the future. And so I think my mission is that, to share with all knowledges and skills that I had and have. And sometimes I see that a great feedback from people who are just following on my Instagram page, on Facebook, and just say, thank you very much for your interesting posts, according for education, according for how to develop your professional soft skills. What is it? Emotional intelligence. It's very interesting. And after that, I think that I grade good things, and it's my mission in this world. But who knows, maybe in the future I will open this center where all of you and can come, and there will be experts who will just train you. You will try to write business plans in this way, how to realize your projects. So the next, can we just go forward to the next slide? Okay, I just talk about it. The next slide, please. It's the results. The next slide. Yes, I just talked about it before. Thanks. Okay, the next slide. In this picture, you can see that my first master class in my school that I finished 9 years ago. The next slide, please. What is next? I've just invited the guest speaker, international business trainer from Germany. I just worked with him in university, and so he just decided to help me to realize my dream. He said, I can help you to be an expert on this kind of meeting to pupils. And he just talked about the professions, the majors, which are just very interested and popular nowadays, about the robots, about artificial intelligence, about the trends in education. And so after that, I saw that a lot of pupils who are just only during from 15 to 17, 18 years old, just interested in it. And they had a lot of questions. So the next slide, please. Here you can see a lot of my trainings that I've just realized in my city, but now, according for pandemic time, I'm just realizing it online. And today is my speech time. So I'm very happy to be here. And I see that when you are just doing something, just sharing what you really know, you can do everything. The next slide, can you please share? Okay, I've just on this slide, you can see the marketing research. I don't know why it's not showing. But there are, I've just made marketing research among students and teenagers in our in my city, and a lot of students that I've mentioned just choose um, scientific, not scientific, about math majors, informatics, IT, or technologies in this world, in this sphere. I've just asked these kind of students why just choosing these kind of majors. They said because they just got the grants on this major, because they see the future of the realization, and they see that they will have a workplace in the future if they will be, for example, IT specialists. But they didn't think, is it really this, or is it, for example, is it really your major, or it is major because of the society just realize it, or your parents just said about it. First of all, you will think, is it yours or not? You really love this kind of work, because now when you really love your work, or you can work it's 20 24 hours during a day. From my own practice, I just mentioned, when I do, or just someone say, do this, write this article, I can do this because I haven't got any inspiration. I haven't got any, I don't know, motivation to do this, because I think that it's not mine. It's the wrong way. But when you are just realizing your own project, when you just think about it during the day and night, I think you can stand up at 4 a.m. and 3 a.m. and just write some materials or workshop or something else, or just make a presentation. It really motivates and inspire you by yourself, and you will not have any coach or an other trainer, because I've just saw a lot of people just lost their motivation, inspiration, and they said, oh, how you are just doing it? If you are just asking about it, how I'm just doing it, it's not yours. It's not the work that you really love. And so the next slide, you can see that how do you motivate yourself and start a social business? It's the great question for now. And please share any expectations or suggestions that you have, and please write in the chat group. In the end, I think we can discuss it. And about motivation, if you just want to realize your social project, it's very hardworking process. And so first of all, you should concentrate on motivation. Motivation, it's a great approach and a great statement in our life. You can say to your parents or someone else how to motivate me, how to motivate to realize this project. If you don't want to do this, don't do this, because if you haven't got this kind of mission in yourself, in your mind, in your soul, you can do it from your heart. You can do it. I just realized it 3 years ago, but sometimes I just lost my hope to do it. And only on the previous year, when I just was a winner of One Young World Summit, and I've just visited it, It was really fantastic. I can't say about the organization, about this kind of big event, but it's really changed my mind. I really understood what I'm doing now. What is it, the social project challenge? Why I'm just making these kind of trainings and masterclass? First of all, I've just concentrated on it, and I heard a lot of stories around the world. It was very touched my heart and soul. I saw a lot of people who are just get violence from others, who are just don't have any work, or I saw people with disabilities. Sorry. After that, I saw uh, that it's really sorry for that. I've just fill up of emotions. I saw these people. I just talk with them, with people who can't go, who are just sitting in their specific chairs, and they just share with their own stories how they will become global change makers. They become a people who are just present their own countries on this global summit, and they just shared with them emotions. I saw people who are just getting violence from some men or other people who had injured their soul, who are just some kind of tragic situation in their lives. And I saw this, and after that, when I came to my country, I just realized that it's not important what you are just doing. For example, when you are just eating or sleeping, every day it's present from the God. When you are just open your eyes, when you are just take a breath, and I think when you are just see all people around you, it's a present from the God. And after that, I really motivated by myself, and I just really understand that after that I will do and realize this project, because after that I will see a lot of young people who will do the same work. And it's very important nowadays. If you will just wake up and go to work, eat, sleep, or do something or else, for example, you will visit some bars or restaurants, it's not the main aim in our life. All of you will have a mission in this world. All of you have some kind of aim to realize it. And after this kind of point, I really motivated, and I see that the great motivation is not external, it's inside of you. If you really believe in you, in yourself, you can do everything. It's my like a statement and my uh, motivational speech of myself. I don't know how to say. So if you will have any questions, you can write and about motivation and how to realize social projects. So please, the next slide, I think. And so in the end, I can add that exit tools that we will have of realizing, they are allowed to exist in the flow, enable to apply all knowledge and put it into practice, and in the end, encourage action. For example, what can you say about the floor? The floor, it's people who are just making some good things. If you are just go into this floor, you can go outside. You will see a lot of people who are just realizing projects, who are just maybe some kind of coaches, trainers, who just have their own companies for helping others. For example, we have business incubators to IT technologies world, to young generation students who are just realizing their startup projects. And it's very amazing to do this kind of work. So the next slide, I think it's the last slide. In the end, I just want to share with great books on social entrepreneurship, because I have, after any speech, there are the great one of the main question, what kind of book you can recommend? And so it's the great books that I've just read and I recommend to you, according for what is it social entrepreneurship, how to become an entrepreneur, and how to realize projects. The next slide, you can make screenshots or organize this. I think they will share with this presentation with all of you. So thank you very much to this kind of session. I'm very happy to see all of you and who just took a part in this kind of session. If you will have any questions or during the slides or anything else, I will share, of course, with all of you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot to
Hello there,
Shafa, to
MAIYA.
Dear.
Thank you so much,
Hello there,
MAIYA.
MAIYA.
It's such an incredible topic for today. So, everyone, if you have any question, feel free to ask our speaker today. You can comment on the chat room or you can raise your hand.
May I say something?
Okay, please.
Yes. Hello there, MAIYA. Sahar is here.
Hello.
Hope
Hello,
you're
Sahar.
fine, doing well, my dear. I really appreciate your words, your thoughts, your missions. It really makes us also emotional, also make us and give us power. And we salute you, your mission. And one day, as you mentioned that you were open and you create a center for help people and you make it possible. And I believe in your power and you will do, inshallah. And we are all with you. You are doing a great job. And anytime if something I can do for you, just let me know. I will be there. Okay, my dear? And we love you, MAIYA. Keep it up. Thank you.
Thank
I
you
don't
so
have any
much.
questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Sahar,
much.
for your warm words. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Okay, that's such a sweet word, Sahar. Thank you so much. And maybe is there any question? And I will mention you again that we have a feedback form in the room chat. So feel free to fill it. Thank you so much. Okay, MAIYA, I think there are questions from Feby Laila.
Uh-huh. Any books recommendations? Any books recommendations from MAIYA or MAIYA's favorite book about self-improvement? About self-improvement, I can recommend, for example, that this book I've just read before by our Kazakhstan author Askar Manbayev, Hobby and Money. It's like a practical book how to realize your deal which you really love. The next book that I can recommend, I've just read Dale Carnegie of orator speech. If you just want to be a speaker, it's really improve your speech and will help you to motivate others. What else that I've read? Stephen Covey, I think all of you just know about 7 Steps of Making Difference. And the next book that I really recommend to you, I think you can find it on Eurasian Creative Guild. You can write it on Google, and they will just open access. Megan Werner's 7 Ways to Make a Difference. It really motivates. This book is written by the girl who is 16 years old. Now she's 18 years old. And it really motivates me and according for my self-improvement. Thank
Okay,
you. Thanks a
thank you
lot
so
for
much
your
for
warm words.
Okay, there's another question from Safira Nuraulia. May I ask, please? Okay, Safira, you can turn on your microphone.
Hello, before Miss Maya. I want to ask about how's your opinion if we get too much pressure from around us, especially from our close one, about our entrepreneurship. You know, it may be depress us to go on.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you for your question. You mean that how to realize your projects, yeah, in this way, in this case, as I really right understand you. In this way, I think you should, first of all, if you just want to realize the social project, you will find out the first step to find out the problem in the society, what you really want to solve. The second is you should see on your feedback on your experience in what sphere, for example, you work or are you you are studying. It's very important because when you are just studying in this sphere, for example, in marketing or in other in tourism or in education, it's very important because you will be an expert in the future in this, and you will in the end you will see what kind of problems for example society have, and how you just getting the feedback and how you just find out the right suggestions in this. It's very important. The third point is to find out the people who are just have the same points of this view. It will be the people who will support to realize your project, who will be like your partners in the future, or who will be team members. The fourth point, what I'm just doing, um, to find out any programs. For example, there are a lot of opportunities around us to find out grant programs, to find out other um, other programs which will help you to grow up your skills, to grow up your knowledge in this sphere, and after that you will use it for realizing. And in the end, I wish you that how to make it to cooperate with not only if you will have any ideas, don't close it in yourself, share with others, and speak, visit a lot of conference, a lot of meetings. I think networking will work in this way of to you, and it will really help you. For example, there are a lot of experts in your sphere when you will realize your project, and from their point they will give a very great feedback to your project. Wish you good luck, and I think that everything is possible.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. Keep cheer up.
Yes, everything is possible. That's a really good sentences.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
So, is there any question left? Maybe we can pick another question. Okay.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay.
Networking is everything. Yes.
There's no
Do you have
question.
any other
Hi, can I
questions?
question to Mai, please?
Okay.
Hello, dear.
Okay.
Sorry, I can show you my what is my PD because a problem of my what is my laptop. Can I just ask question to my please?
Yeah, sure. You can ask question.
Okay, thank you. Uh, Maya, hello,
Yes, yes,
Maya.
I'm here. I'm I'm listening you.
You are from Kazakhstan, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm from Kazakhstan.
Okay, can you describe how about social entrepreneurship and also humanitarian work in your country? Because I read some published or maybe get articles about your in the social entrepreneurship in your country, but I don't realize big sometimes because it is in the local language. How can you describe about the relation between the partnership between the private and or the private operation and also the state to support the social entrepreneurship in your country? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your question. Yes, I agree that it's very hard to realize it, and of course, there are a lot of problems to launch, for example, some kind of projects. We have some organizations. I've just heard them when I just start this kind of work, social work. We have organizations, for example, British Council in Kazakhstan. It's really help us to realize we have Atomikian.
Mm.
Atomikian, it's our Kazakhstan organization. We have in Almaty and Nur Sultan. It's our capital. We have this kind of organizations. This organization just giving grants for the youth who haven't got any work, and sometimes you will just take money like borrowing, but sometimes they will give it for not for borrowing. It's not so a lot of money, but for this money you can, for example, make some startup agencies. Other social projects, we are just cooperating with Russia Federation, and they are just getting some experts to our country who are just working on how to build infrastructure in our country, how to work on this kind of project on ecology sphere, on
Mm.
recycling this way in education. I've just visited a lot of conferences and meetings on this, and a lot of support we have from, of course, government grant programs. But first of all, mm, you will fill up the good application. It's a big competition, so it's very hard to get some kind of grants or money from government to realize these projects. You should write everything. For example, for researchers or other entrepreneurs, we have these kind of grant programs.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you
yeah.
so much.
Okay, so okay, so thank you so much, Maya, for being here. We want to know about social entrepreneurship more, but unfortunately, our time is up. And yes, so what I can conclude is social entrepreneurship is not about gain money for the business, but also how your business impact to other people in society. And um, yeah, it's very important to share knowledge and skill. Maya, thank you so much for uh, you being here today. We're really glad to have you today. And
Yes,
yeah,
thank you. Thank you very much to your organization, to your work committee. It's real great mission to cooperate with a lot of young leaders around the world, and it's your mission is very great and powerful. Thanks a lot for the invitation. I so appreciate it.
okay, thank you so much, Maya. So everyone, uh, please share much love, spread love to around the world, treat people with kindness, and yeah, thank you for this session.
Thank you, and see you next time.
Okay, so everyone, don't worry. The next session will be from Rebecca Rickwood, who is already here with us today. She gonna talk about how to be a professional person. Uh, we will wait for the next host. So
Udah habis.
Kita masih ada satu sesi lagi ya, Kak.
Ini udah boleh keluar nggak?
okay, hello everyone. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, then we will about doing the next session. The next moderator will be Shafa Amira Siregar, and she already here with us tonight. Okay, I think there's a problem, so I'm gonna start it. Hello everyone, good evening. Hope you all is good.
Hi, sorry, should I start? I wasn't sure if I should start.
Oh yeah, I'm
Sorry,
gonna start. That's okay. Okay. Okay, so
Hi.
we already, yes.
Oh. Hi, sorry. Hi everyone. My name's Rebecca, and I'm going to be doing the presentation on how to be a professional person. I'm just going to share my screen with you all. Okay, cool. So I'm really excited to be here today. I want to thank Shafa for inviting me to be part of this talk and deliver this presentation. So I wanted to begin with a bit about who I am and what I do. So I was born in the UK, but I am British Indian by ethnicity and British Kenyan by nationality. So I grew up in the UK, and in 2016, I started at university. I started at Queen Mary, University of London, and I studied chemistry. While I was studying, I also had a part-time job, and I worked at an IT startup as a consultant, and I graduated university in 2019. And after graduation, I carried on my business, which I founded whilst I was still at university. So Cement, which is the business that I own, we focus on manufacturing geopolymer cement, which is an eco-friendly alternative to ordinary cement. We focus on getting more women and BAME individuals into construction as well. And we also host organisations and come together so that we can discuss about sustainable building and geopolymers. So we have kind of a side where we manufacture cement, and then we also have a side where we like to reform the construction industry and change how it's run at the moment. So I'd like to start off with some basics that everyone should be familiar with. The first point is to never be late. And I think this is such an important one because first impressions really do count. And I think everyone has had someone be late for them in the past, whether it's at perhaps business events, or perhaps it's simply just meeting your friends at a restaurant. Everyone has had that experience where your friend has been late and you're kind of waiting there. And I always like to think of the situation as, imagine if you were having lunch with a super important person like Beyonce, and how would you act for that meeting? You would probably not be late. In fact, you would probably try and be early and on time, because she's a very important person and it's a very important event. So when people are late, especially in business, I always think it's very rude and disrespectful. And I think it shows that the person doesn't really care. Because if they really cared, if it was the Beyonce, they would always turn up early or on time. So for me, being late is a very important factor, and it's things that I've seen people have lost their jobs before, just over being late a number of times. The second point I'd like to talk about is having a very positive can-do attitude. And I think that's really important because people always remember those types of attributes. So for instance, if I said to you, think of somebody who is very loud, I can imagine that everyone is probably thinking of somebody in their head right now. But that specific person who is loud, they probably don't even realize that they're known as a loud person. And so if you show up with a very positive attitude, that's what people will remember you by. Perhaps you will not be the smartest person, you may not get the best results, but you will have the best attitude and you will have a positive attitude. And it's things like when there are huge meetings in companies on who to promote and who gets perhaps a higher salary, if you have a positive attitude, it really increases your chances of getting the promotion. So for me, that's a very important aspect. The next point I wanted to talk about was taking criticism. And I was actually working with a team a couple of months ago, and there was someone on the team who was very, very good at what they did. They were a very hard worker. They showed up every day with, 110% of kind of, working hard and the right energy. but they had a real problem with accepting criticism and accepting feedback, even when it was given in a very, very nice and helpful way. And it was actually quite a shame, because in the end, nobody could give this person feedback without them shouting at us. And everyone just kind of stopped talking to them, because they were just too scared of being kind of shouted at and being spoken to and in a not so nice way, because this person had such a big problem with accepting feedback and criticism. And unfortunately, he ended up leaving the company, just because he just didn't have the right attitude. So I think it's important to remember that nobody's perfect and that we're all going to make mistakes. And when people offer me criticism, I like to think of it as flattery, even, because it shows that they've kind of taken the time to give me some helpful feedback of how I can better myself and my work. And I think that if I wasn't a good enough person, they wouldn't have taken the time to give me that criticism. I think most of the time, 80% of the time, criticism is meant to be a very helpful thing and a very nice thing, and people are just trying to help you to get better. I think that the 20% of times where criticism is malicious, the best thing you can do is accept somebody's opinion with a smile and walk away. And I've had this a lot, definitely, in the field that I work in, but also at university. And there was a particular professor who, when I kind of asked for feedback on my work, he said, "This is really bad. How have you ever even gotten into university? That's how bad your work is. You're never gonna pass university." And I just said, "Okay, that's fine, like whatever," with a smile. And I ended up graduating in the top 10% of my class. So I think the best thing to do is, in those situations, you don't want to entertain the drama, and the best thing to do is just walk away, so that there is no argument that can brew up. The next point I'd like to talk about is to be polite and remember manners. And this is something that people really remember if you don't use it. But it's also something that is really easy for everyone to kind of remember and everyone to do. And it really helps to form the best image of yourself possible. It's such a small thing, but it has a very big impact if you can be that person who is always polite and always very well-mannered. And the final point is all about being confident. And you need to be confident in yourself and in your work and in your ideas. You need to believe in yourself, because nobody else will if you don't. Nobody's going to take you seriously, whether you are running a business, whether you are still a student, whether you are working at the moment. Nobody's going to take you seriously if you don't believe in yourself and you're not confident in yourself and your work. So I'd say that might be one of the biggest points on this presentation, in combination with not being late. But it's always important to remember, even if you're not feeling confident, to show up and pretend you are. So I'd like to speak about social media etiquette next, because I think that it plays such a big part in not only our personal lives, but our business lives as well. And it's important to remember who your audience are. So are you going to be talking on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or is it an email? Because I think all of the different social media sites have different audiences. So for instance, Instagram is usually very casual. You can get away with using short, snappy sentences, perhaps some emojis. Whereas something perhaps like Twitter, if you're using it in a business way, it might be using perhaps more formal language. So you should always remember about what kind of site you're on and who is going to be looking at what you're posting. The second point I'd like to make is about checking your spelling, because definitely it makes an impression if a lot of things are spelt wrong. It makes a very bad impression. And if a lot of things are spelt right, then you come off more professional. And it's important to realize that on social media, people only see what you put up there. So if you put up some text with lots of spelling mistakes, that's reflecting on you. And to me, something that has spelling mistakes in reflects that this person doesn't care about what they're writing. They haven't bothered to proofread their work, and they're not bothered about putting out wrong work on the internet. And to me, that looks very unprofessional. I think in this kind of day and age, everyone has a spell checker. So spelling mistakes are really not an excuse for anyone. The next point I'd like to talk about is the profile picture. And I've included this picture, this very inappropriate picture of this man. And you guys might be laughing, thinking, you know, nobody's going to put this picture up on a business profile. But you are wrong, because I have seen it in more than one instance. People who are quite high up in companies, they're not big companies, but they're companies all the same. And their profile picture is a picture of them without a top on. And it just looks very, very inappropriate. And I know that, you know, most people wouldn't do that, but I think things like Snapchat filters or Instagram filters, blurry pictures, or pictures where it's kind of slanted, or if you're wearing revealing clothing, it looks very, very bad. And I want to bring back that point that people only see what you put up on the internet. So if you put up a picture which is really unprofessional, they're going to have an opinion of you that you're not a professional person and you don't care how you are perceived. So it's important to have something where it's you are looking modest, and you're also not wearing anything perhaps bad, and the picture is in good quality. The final point I'd like to make is to remember that when you post content, it is posted permanently, even if you delete it. And I always think in my head, would my parents mind me posting this, or would I mind if my boss saw this? And if the answer is yes, then I wouldn't post it. I think that you should think that if you're in doubt of posting something, then you shouldn't post it. Because once it's out there, it's out there. And in this day and age, we have screenshotting, you can download stuff, you can take pictures. So it's important to remember that even if you delete the post or the photo, somebody out there might still have it. And you never know if and when these things might resurface. And I know all these points that I've made, they're very kind of small details, but I think it's important to remember that these small details add up. And if you are writing to a complete wrong audience with a bunch of spelling mistakes, and you have an inappropriate picture, then you're not going to get a job offer, or you're not going to get the business contact, and you're going to come across as somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing, and someone very inexperienced. So all these small things really do add up and make a difference. I'd like to talk about emailing in specifics now, because I think we're really kind of in that digital age where everyone sends an email and everyone knows what an email is, yet there's so many people who still do it wrong. So the first point is knowing about your audience. So we spoke about audience before, and this was in the sense that who are you speaking to on which social media platform. So we said that Instagram would be a very casual social media platform, but looking at the audience of email etiquette is looking at who are you going to be emailing? Are you emailing perhaps a big CEO of a company, or are you emailing one of your colleagues who you're very close to? And I think the language that you should use should be different depending on your audience. So for instance, if you are talking to a big CEO or somebody you don't know, then perhaps you should be more formal and you should use dear instead of hi. And you should make sure that all your words are not abbreviated and it's written out as full words. However, if you're talking to your colleague, perhaps you can use a smiley face in the email. Perhaps you can write a word like lol, and you can say hey, and you can keep things a lot more casual. So it's important to look at who you're talking to and reflect your words depending on who you're talking to. The second point is to mirror the language of your recipient. Now, mirroring the language means that you copy what they're doing. So if they start the email as hi, then you start the email as hi. And if they end the email with kind regards, then you can end the email with kind regards. And this is really important because when you mirror the language of your recipient, you're making the recipient feel more confident in you and they feel more trustworthy. It's not like you're being very cold to them or you're being very warm to them, but you're being exactly how they are being. And so that puts their trust in you. So that's very important when you're speaking to somebody and perhaps you need something from them. Always mirror the language that they use to you. The next point is to have a good signature. So my email signature is my name, my job title, my phone number, and then a logo of the company, which is linked to our website. And I think that even if you're not part of a company just yet, perhaps you're still studying at school, you can still have a good signature, which is your name and your phone number. And that way, if anyone needs to contact you, they have your number on hand if they need to reach you urgently. And it's just a small thing which really makes you look professional because it shows that you've taken the time to create a signature and you care about how your emails look. You care about the presentation of it, which is really important if you're trying to look professional. The next point is all about the timing of your email. So it's very important, especially if you're sending things overseas, to look at perhaps any special days that they might have. So for instance, I've seen people sending emails on the 4th of July, which in the UK it's fine because it's just an ordinary day here. But in the US, it's a special holiday and they're out celebrating. And the last thing that people want is an email on their phone when they're trying to have a good time, and instead they've got you pestering them. Another thing to look at is time zones as well. So if you're sending things internationally, so perhaps what would be the afternoon for you is perhaps very late in the evening for Australia and very early in the morning for the US. And you don't want to be sending an email when somebody is sleeping, because I have seen it in one of the previous jobs I've worked at, where we emailed somebody in the morning in the UK, and it was about 3 or 4 a.m. in the US. And a couple of hours later, we had an email reply back saying, this email woke me up because I left my phone on loud. And they were very upset. And this particular person was trying to make a sale. So in that case, it really wasn't the best start off for the relationship, because this person was very upset that they got emailed during the night. So always something to consider if you're sending things overseas is any celebration days and time zones. And the last point I'd like to talk about is following up emails. So following up emails, perhaps you have reached out to someone because you need something and they haven't answered you and they haven't replied back to you. The best thing that you can do is follow up. And when you follow up an email, you're twice as likely to have a response than if you didn't follow up at all. So it's very, very important. But you should always follow up emails in good time as well. So if you're following up perhaps after 2 or 3 weeks, that is far too long. And they've probably forgotten about your email and it's probably buried deep inside their inbox. However, if you're following up after perhaps 1 day, they might have not even had time to read the email if they've had a very busy day. So it's very important to follow up. I always like to leave a time frame of 1 week because then that gives them time to read the email and for them to reply if necessary. And if they haven't, then you can ask them, if you caught my previous email, what did you think? And things like that. So make sure you follow up. My personal recommendation is after 1 week. It also shows when you follow up an email that you're eager and on the ball. It shows that you really want to talk to this person and that you are professional because you have thought of this person, you have seen the email and you have remembered to follow up the email that you first sent. So it also makes them feel very important as well. So I'd like to specifically talk about the workplace now. And I guess this has probably changed quite a bit due to the pandemic, but I'm sure that people will still be going back to their offices, hopefully next year. So the first thing is that professionalism really varies on the sector. So I have worked in a variety of sectors, and I always have found that sectors in perhaps like tech are notorious for being very casual and very chilled. However, on the other side of things, my sister works in finance, and there is a very different kind of behavior in that sector. And people tend to behave very kind of strict in their manners, and it's also a lot more stricter on the dress codes as well. With dress codes, you kind of want to take care. So make sure for girls anyway that, you know, things like heels are not too high that you can't walk, and you're not wearing any revealing clothing because no one wants to get an eyeful of anything when you bend down. It's also important that you're not wearing any clothes with stains on or creases. They may seem like really kind of small details, but people notice them a lot. And I can tell you personally that if somebody has come into the office with a creased shirt, somebody is always whispering, saying, I can't believe he came into work with that shirt. Does he not know what an iron is? And things like that. So it's very important to make sure that you look professional at work. And people do treat you differently on how you dress. So that's very important. I've included 2 kind of pictures here. So the first one, it shows a much more casual environment. There's a guy wearing shorts, for instance, and there's also a guy, the first guy that we see, and he's got his leg upon his knee, which is a very casual and open position. So we can tell that this is kind of perhaps a technology sector or IT sector, or something where, you know, a strict dress code is not enforced. And then we, on the other hand, we have a different picture, and this seems like perhaps something in finance or consulting or legal, because we can see that the setting is more professional as well. It's taking place on a table. The first picture just shows the meeting taking place and people have the laptops on their lap. The second picture, we have the table, and we look at kind of what they're wearing, and everyone seems to be wearing a blazer, and they also are taking kind of a formal position with how their hands are placed as well. So we can tell that that's kind of more of a strict dress code. The next point is to always support others and your fellow colleagues. And this is important because it shows that you'll have a good rep between your other colleagues. And your colleagues are ultimately the people who are going to support you, who are going to help you when you've done something wrong, or you need some support or guidance. And effectively, they make or break your work experience. So if you're not on good terms with your colleagues, then chances are then you will not enjoy your job. So it's always good to support others and make friends with your colleagues. And for instance, I had a particular example when I was working at a company and everyone in my department was a boy. I was the only girl. And so because of that, they didn't include me in any of their talks or their chats. When they went out, they didn't invite me either. And I ended up having a really miserable time at that company because I was never spoken to. I never really had any friends because all the boys just used to group together. So I think it's very important to make sure that you're supporting other people. So then you will have a kind of a good rep around others and others can help you out when you need it. The final point I wanted to make is to be honest, even when you've made a mistake. And I think that it's quite difficult to do this, especially when you have to admit to your boss that you've made a mistake, because it's much easier to
Okay, everyone. I guess we should wait Arabica again because maybe there is something with her network. So yeah, I'm sorry for the mistake during this session. And anyway, my name is Safa. At first, this session I will bring this, but thank you for Matia for backup myself. And hello for friends in the YouTube live streaming. You still can watch our session now, right? And please everyone for feel the feedback of my session and also from the Rebecca session. Okay, here Rebecca. Okay, maybe we're gonna wait Rebecca for share her screen. Just a moment.
Sorry, I'm not sure what is happening to the call. It wouldn't let me in. So I'll just continue where I was. And the final part I was making about being honest is that in the future, it can lead to good opportunities because you've shown that you've taken ownership and that even if you've had a small setback, it gives you an opportunity to grow and improve your performance. So in the future, there is an opportunity for you to then get promoted. The final thing I'd like to talk about is just some helpful life tips to finish off. The first one is to always take a risk in life, and sometimes you're obviously going to win, sometimes you're obviously going to lose, but at the end of the day, if you don't try and take that risk, then you will never know what happens. And I had a particularly big risk to take when I graduated university, and I had the choice between a big corporate job, which would give me a great experience and loads of exposure, or to carry on with my business and to see how that would go. And I took the risk of the business, and I don't have any regrets in what I've done. The second point I'd like to talk about is staying positive, because your mindset determines everything. Your mindset determines your attitude, your results, and how hard you work. You're always going to be your biggest supporter in life, so you have to stay positive for yourself. And only you have been through your own journey. You've been there right from the beginning when you were young and little, and you will be there right through the end. There is no person who has been with you through the whole journey who knows every specific detail like you do. The third point is to put yourself first. And this was quite a controversial point, because I know that some people feel that, you know, they would put perhaps like their boyfriend or their girlfriend first. But from my experience that I've had, I believe that no job, no friend, or no partner is worth more than your mental health. And I always like to think of things as, in 1 year, would this problem still matter? And if I think no, then I know it's nothing for me to worry about now. I also like to think of myself when I'm older, perhaps when I'm like 90 years old. I think I would like to look back on my life, and I wouldn't want to have many regrets. And I wouldn't want to have many regrets about what I've done or worrying about things which didn't matter. So I've learned to always put myself first above any other thing in life. And the final part is that life is a roller coaster. There will be good bits and there'll be bad bits, happy bits and sad bits, exciting bits and boring bits. But it's all about your mindset that matters. And if you use your time wisely and follow the steps that I've given, you will have the ultimate experience on how to be a professional person. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Rebecca for your amazing session, for your amazing presentation. Anyway, my name is Safa, and first I'm gonna be your host, but there's something, so I'm sorry for you and also for everyone. And yeah, this is our Q&A session. So whoever that want to ask about how to be a professional person, you can raise hand or can write your question at our room chat. And yeah, for the first question, maybe will be presented by Dela Ayu Setiorini. For Dela, you can say your question.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the hardest thing to be a professional person is the basic of professionalism that you were explained before, because sometimes we don't know from where we can we can build all of that? And how can we encourage ourselves to be better? And how we can maintain that personality to be regular? Thank you. It is clear?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Okay. Uh, the hardest thing to be professional person is the basic of professionalism that you were explained before, because sometimes we don't know from where we can build all of that, and how can we encourage ourselves to be better, and how we can maintain that personality to be regular. Okay.
I think that's a really good question. And
Yeah.
I would say that it's not going to be something that just comes immediately and you're going to be great at it. It definitely takes time. And it's something I had to learn as well when I started kind of my business journey, because everyone else seemed like such a professional at writing emails, at speaking. And I really had no experience on how to do any of it. And you really just have to learn slowly. There kind of isn't really a book or a kind of teacher who can teach you this. But perhaps I can share my presentation with you all, and so you can remember the steps to take to be a professional person. But a lot of the things I've learned are looking at what other people do. So perhaps a very professional person I've seen, and I've taken tips and notes on how they behave and how they act and how they speak, and then I've applied it to myself. So I would really recommend that, to take, you know, what you see from other people who you really admire and try and imitate that yourself. I think that if you start doing this regularly, even if you are still at school, if you perhaps start speaking to your teachers in a professional way and sending emails to them, then when you start work and when you go into a job, then you will already have some basics of how to be professional. And in addition to that, I would also say that it's really helpful if you can join any like clubs or societies where they encourage this sort of thing. So here in the UK, we have lots of classes for like public speaking, writing, classes on like behavior and posture. And perhaps if you have something like that where you live, it would be really helpful for you to join.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for Della for your question, and also
Thank
thank you for
you.
Rebecca as the answer. And maybe for the next question, for Sarifah Siregar.
Hello there, Ripika.
Yes, Sahar. Yeah, we can.
Hello.
Yes. May I have a
Hello.
question from Ripika? Hello.
Hello. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rebecca, for the amazing, you can say, explanation and all the ideas you gave us. It's really like, you can say, I learned a lot from this session, and it makes me, you can say, energetic and find my, you can say, because as you said, that no one is perfect. So I find my, you can say, wrong things which I observed from my colleagues, the wrong things which I did with them. So I learned a lot from your, you can say, session. Thank you so much for that. And my question is that, Rebecca, could you please explain again about the signature that we can make under our email? It's something I make it, I think, mixture, because you said first the name should be there, and at the second should be the, you can say, I just forget about it. So could you please clear that one, the signature under email? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So if you're working for a company, the best email signature is to have your name, your contact number, or your job title, either which, and then the logo of your company and link it to your website. If you're not part of a company, I would just suggest your name and your contact number. And perhaps if you have a LinkedIn social media or a Twitter social media, you should put that down below as well so people can find you.
Great. Thank you, my dear. Thank you. That's clear.
Thank you.
Okay, I think there's some problem. Okay, with our host. Okay, so is there any question?
Hi, can I ask questions?
Sure.
Okay, hi, Miss Rebecca. I'm Stephanie, and thank you
Hello.
for your presentation. And it's really give me a new knowledge for me. And what I want to ask is, how is the best way to give criticism to our partners or even seniors in workplace that won't offend them, and how to manage the situation so they won't think that we're judging them, because sometimes many people feel offended and feel like judged when